Hello, Aries, Aries Sun, Rising, and Moon individuals. I'm Poetic Heretic, and this is your March 2019 tarot forecast. So, this is a general reading for all Aries individuals. If you would like an individual reading, a personal one-on-one reading, I do go live on this channel regularly, doing live tarot readings for donations of any amount on Mondays, Wednesdays, and or Saturdays. So you can always look for me then if you're interested in that. So without further ado, we would like a Celtic cross reading for all Aries people out there for the month of March 2019. Let's see what we get. What will be the energy throughout the month of March 2019 for all Aries people? All of those on the Aries frequency. For the month of March 2019. I know the cards are really loud on here when I shuffle them, but unfortunately there's not much I can do about that. And by not much, I mean there's nothing I can do about it. But we have arrived. Let's see what your cards are. Your current outside influences, the Four of Pentacles. Your challenge this month, the Four of Cups reversed. The underlying energy, the King of Cups reversed. The past, the Three of Cups. What you hope to achieve, the Page of Cups reversed. The near future, the Two of Pentacles. Your attitude or position on the situation, the Nine of Swords. The outside force coming in, the Two of Wands. Hopes or fears, the Sun. And the final outcome card is the High Priestess reversed. Okay, let's take a look here. So this looks like an interesting month. Right off the bat, I can see your fourth house and your second house activated, lit up. Fourth house of home and family and immediate environment. Second house of money, finance, and close relationships. So those are going to factor in quite a bit here. Let's just see. So getting right into it. Current outside influences. This is how you start the month of March. Four of Pentacles. So this card is all about financial, what's the way I should put this? Like really good opportunities when it comes to work. It's about laying the foundations for something new when it comes to anything from money to work/career or just physical reality in general. It can be the idea of financial security, having money coming in at a stable rate. And so not a bad way to start the month. On the negative side, sometimes it can manifest as too much rigidity and holding on to money too much, not being open to new possibilities. And so I would say if that sounds like you, try to avoid that. It could be a warning against that. For your challenge card, you have the Four of Cups reversed. So the way that I always interpret this card, and it's especially in its reversal, though some readers will say since it's the challenge card, it doesn't matter if it's upright or reversed. Well, usually I tend to read it reversed anyway. Is the idea of more openness and confidence. And so your challenge this month is to be more open and confident, essentially, perhaps to have more optimism as well. And if we want to look at other meanings of the card, well, fine. We could say perhaps finding satisfaction this month, perhaps realizing that what you want is already before you this month. But I think really when we look at this in combination with the Four of Pentacles that we just went over, having more openness really does make a lot of sense, that being what you should do this month, your challenge. This could also be looked at as like what you need to reintegrate as well. So more openness, more confidence. That is your task. That is your quest this month, if you choose to accept it. For the underlying energy and everything forming a foundation for your current situation, you can also talk about your immediate environment. You have the King of Cups reversed. Well, this could indicate possibly not being fully in touch with your emotions, and so consider that. But it also might indicate conflict with a water sign male, an adult male water sign. That would be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. And so you might want to watch out for that. And this could be someone perhaps at work or school, or just someone around you that you might have some conflict with, especially because we have the Page of Cups reversed coming up as well. There might be a tricky water sign for you to watch out for this month. So do be aware of that. But again, if it's not that, there's also the idea of not being fully in touch with your emotions when we have the King of Cups reversed, perhaps not having complete balance and emotional stability. And that also ties into some of the other cards that we have coming up here. So do be aware of that. Again, the reason I give multiple possibilities is because these are general readings. They're going to manifest in different ways for different people. So for the past, you have the Three of Cups. And so this is talking about events that kind of like led to your current state of affairs this month. Well, we have the Three of Cups. And so this is generally a very positive card. Social gatherings, fun with friends, social events, ceremonies and celebrations, things like that. And so you might even have some of this around the beginning of the month as well. And it has led to your unique sort of situation here. But yeah, again, generally a very positive card, a very good sign. It may or may not be connected to the Four of Pentacles we saw earlier, talking about possibly laying the foundations for something new, especially in a financial sense, and or the Four of Cups as well, talking about more openness and confidence. Perhaps the universe is encouraging you to continue pursuing more openness and confidence with friends and in social gatherings. So next up, for what you hope to achieve, you have the Page of Cups reverse. Again, just this showing up with the King of Cups reverse could be like potential conflict with a water sign individual. So be aware of that. And if it isn't that, what it's saying when we have this card and what you hope to achieve, well, hoping to overcome a blockage to something along the lines of a new romance, a new love interest, or a new creative endeavor. Because some people, they'll say, well, I'm not interested in new love or new romance. And so for them, it is most likely going to manifest as some new creative endeavor, something that really gets your juices flowing, that really gets your creativity going. You feel right now like there's some kind of blockage to that. And what you hope to achieve this month, what you're reaching for this month, that's why the card is at the top of the spread here in the beginning of the Celtic Cross, which I would show on my camera, but it won't let me, sadly. But the reason it's high up is because it's what you're reaching for. You're reaching for creativity, getting your juices flowing, and or a potential new love interest. And so, again, let us go back here to the Four of Cups reversed. Well, let's even look at it upright for a moment. Could there be something right in front of you that you're not noticing? Could there be? If that sounds like you, I would say pay special attention to that. We have this combination of cards. So for the near future, this would be about the first week to 2 weeks of the month. The Two of Pentacles. So in a positive sense, this goes right along in many ways with the Four of Pentacles that we saw earlier, except that here what's being emphasized is new financial ventures and the possibility of a new job, perhaps a new business venture or deal or something like that. It signals having to spend some to get some. The whole idea of investment, taking risks and stuff like that, financial risks. So that could be very good. But on the negative side, it can talk about the possibility of too many ups and downs. And what did we see earlier with that King of Cups reversed? The risk of not enough stability, especially emotional stability, though it may also have to do with finance this month, or money, whatever you want to call it. But there could be the risk in the first 1 or 2 weeks of not enough stability, too many ups and downs, having to really juggle things. And so I would say be careful with that, be prepared for that possibility. So let's see. Just thinking this is going to connect in some ways, I'm sure, to the cards coming up, but let's just kind of go through them one by one, and then we'll get into all of it as we go. So for your attitude or position on the situation, about halfway through the month, you have the Nine of Swords. So unfortunately, this card does often indicate, as the picture implies, worrying about things, trouble and shock and worrying, being overly concerned. In some cases, it can even manifest quite literally as the image on the card, the insomniac, not being able to sleep because you're concerned about things. But the good news is this isn't the most negative card in the deck. So a lot of times it can say that you're worrying about things that are really not that great of a concern ultimately. And from the other cards that we have here, well, we're not seeing any heavy hitters of negativity. We're not seeing any strong indicators of negativity. So 90% chance, I would say, whatever you might feel worried about this month is really not that big of a deal to worry about. Now, in some cases, I have to mention this too, this card can actually signal the idea of a spiritual awakening or humanity, getting in touch with your deeper aspects, perhaps. And so for some of you, it might even manifest that way. But I would say for the majority of you, again, from like taking the cards as a whole here, it's most likely that you're worried about something, but you don't really need to be that worried about it. So that is that. So for the outside force coming in, you have the Two of Wands. So again, we have another two, that second house of money, finance, of close relationships. So this could be another new opportunity. This could be, especially with the Two of Pentacles we saw earlier, investment in two areas, maybe even two or more areas. It could be the idea of something very, very energizing, but remember, this is something coming at you. And so this card in particular is not so much signaling how you are feeling or what you are experiencing as something that is presenting itself to you. So again, a new opportunity, or maybe multiple new opportunities, two or more new opportunities, new potential investments that you may want to consider. And I would say, let's see, let me factor these cards together. I would say probably more likely than not, it's going to have to do with money, with work and finance, but there's also the possibility Because remember, we had that Page of Cups earlier. Page of Cups, classic new romance card. There's also the possibility for some of you, perhaps, that this could be a new relationship coming in. And perhaps even especially with a fellow fire sign, with it being a fire card, or at the very least, someone who is very energetic, who is very interested in starting things, perhaps another Aries like yourself even, or well, any fire sign really. This card in a very, basic sense, like if we weren't interpreting it in a particular category, is initiation, conception, debut, starting things, investment in 2 or more areas, stuff like that. So, someone who really likes to start things could indeed be what we see. So, or someone very enthusiastic, I should say. So for your hopes or fears, you have the Sun. So very positive card showing up. See, so it's not all like, oh, you're worried about things this month. In hopes or fears, you've also got, this positive energy flowing with the Sun. So this is an interesting situation because this could go a number of ways. So where do I even begin? This could signal feelings of joy in the back of your mind. This card is a classic, like, enjoyment of life card. More specifically, it could also be you're hoping that you're able to see things clearly, to see things as they are. Especially, again, with that 9 of Swords earlier, you may be feeling worried and you're hoping that you can see things as they are and hoping that they are not as bad as they seem, which fortunately, from the cards we have here, taking the reading all together, again, things are most likely not as bad as they seem this month. And I wouldn't be saying that if that wasn't what the cards are literally saying here. So there's that. This can also, of course, talk about, again, this is a recurring theme in this spread, the idea of new beginnings, especially joyful new beginnings and new openings, new possibilities, a whole new chapter of life begins, essentially. Now, this is just in your hopes or fears, but with it being on your radar and with the other cards we're seeing here, there's probably a reason. There's probably some new opportunity that comes your way, or perhaps for those of you who are single and looking for a lover, maybe even a new lover coming your way, and you're feeling hopeful about that. The Sun is a very, very positive card, and just because it's showing up in your hopes or fears doesn't mean we should discount it. So, how do you end the month of March 2019? Well, we have the High Priestess reversed. So, where do we start with this card? Both positive and negative possibilities. Well, let's start with the negative side of things. If it manifests negatively, this can talk about a need to look at things more intuitively, use your intuition more. It can talk about secrets and hidden agendas. It could talk about an untrustworthy person who might be almost like like a psychic vampire or something, maybe going back to some of the stuff we were looking at earlier with the King of Cups reversed and even Page of Cups reversed. But in a more positive sense, the High Priestess reverse can sometimes talk about the idea of the end of loneliness and no more withdrawal and like getting out of your shell. Like if you've felt like you've had to retreat from the world for a while, and we saw perhaps a bit of that earlier with the 4 of Cups. Now, getting back out there and things getting to be more exciting, getting more involved with life. So that's a pretty high probability from the cards we have here. Now, again, we also have to mention, though, another 2, the second house of money. And so money and, of course, also close relationships, also the second house, are one or both, depending on how it's manifesting for you, for each individual Aries person out there, one or both are on your mind, at the very least, if not being encountered by you a lot this month. So for some of you, it's going to be the idea of a new relationship, and this is very big in your month this month. For others, it's going to be new financial ventures, and for some of you, it might even be both. And I'd say when we have 3 2s here, the second house being activated that much, it's almost certain that you're not just going to be thinking about starting something new, whether it be having to do with money or a new relationship. It's almost certain that one or perhaps even both for some of you are going to be happening. And so that is very exciting. Just remember, again, with the High Priestess reverse showing up, that can be a situation sometimes where you want to make sure you're trusting your intuition about things, listening to that inner feeling that you get about anything that's important to you. And let's see, High Priestess reversed. I don't want to leave anything out. Again, just the idea of secrets and maybe knowledge or information being kept from you, again, in a more negative sense, to go back to that. So, yeah, and then with the Sun showing up and the Nine of Swords, just make sure if you feel like there might be anything being hidden from you, especially around like sort of towards the end of the month, that you're getting all the details, that you're doing what you have to do to get all the relevant information. So that is about it for my Aries people out there. Overall, it looks like a very interesting month. New things are happening. New things are beginning. Exciting new beginnings. You may be worried about some things, but at the same time, the cards are saying you basically don't need to be worried. Just make sure, again, that you get all the information about anything that is important to you. Don't let anyone hide things from you or think that they can keep secrets or scheme in the shadows or whatever crap they want to try to pull on you. You're too smart for that. Don't let that happen. So, also, if it's your birthday this month, happy birthday, Aries. And again, if you want to get a personal reading with me, like I said at the beginning of this stream, I do regularly go live on this channel on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. And some of those days I will do live tarot readings for donations of any amount. You could literally pay even just $1, and I will give you a reading, a Celtic cross, on any subject that you want. So be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're interested in that. Other than that, that's all I've got. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.